Hey guys, in this video I'm just going to talk about Tesla's battery day and how it's going to impact the mining sector, especially the nickel miners, because as you may know that the the EV batteries that Tesla have they actually require a lot of nickels. So I'm just gonna give you guys the overview of like what's the battery days is all about, and then we jump right into talk about some of the nickel miners. So basically, the one key takeaway from this battery day is that Tesla wants to mass produce batteries. So I see EV batteries as like chips, like computer chips for computers, like the CPU, right? The CPU for the computers. And for Tesla, electric vehicle is the battery. Tesla wants to mass produce the batteries. And one of the reasons why they wanted to mass produce is so that they can lower the cost. If the batteries have a lower cost, then they can make a more affordable Tesla cars for everyone, right? So they're aiming to reduce the battery cost. So that's the main key takeaway from Tesla's battery day. So there's going to be five ways they're going to do in order to reduce the cost of the batteries. First is their cell design. So they're gonna have they have a brand new cell design for the battery. Second is gonna be, so they're gonna build a battery factory to produce their batteries. And then the third area is basically the anode materials are needed for the batteries, and then the cathode material that needed for the batteries. And the last one is the cell vehicle integration. So in this video, we're gonna focus on the cathode material that needed for the battery. Basically, what is the cathode materials in a battery? So what they describe cathode battery is like a bookshelf for the books. So the books are the lithium that they needed. These materials are iron, nickel, and cobalt. And the most efficient one is nickel, because it is the lowest cost and with highest energy density. So they already started to develop high nickel cathode. It's like almost 100% nickel and without any cobalt, and that's like the best batteries that they could get. But they also say that due to like the supply constraint of nickels, because there's not a lot of nickel in the world, their strategy is to diversify cathode development. There are three ways of making the cathode batteries, right? So number one is the iron-based cathode battery. There's a lot of iron supply, right? So they're not worried about the supply of iron. So that's one of the way they can diversify. But the downside for iron, the range, right? So it's medium range. It just means that it's not as high energy density as a nickel base. So you can see in the picture here, the iron-based cathode, you can use car, or you can use it on like the stationary storage, energy storage. So if they move to a nickel plus manganese cathode based batteries, is like a medium plus to long range battery. So it's good for like the higher end cars, so that you have a longer range because of the nickel component in it. And then finally, the third one is the one that they wanted to do, like the high nickel. So the high nickel basically is for heavy duty like trucks, the cyber trucks. So that's how important nickel is to the batteries. The future is pretty bright for like the nickel miners, unless this new technology comes out saying that there's a better materials to replace nickel. Beside that, I think nickel is the best option for batteries. So let's jump over to the miners, the nickel miners. So I did a video on how comparing like three nickel miners, right? So first one is Giga Metals, and then second one is Canada Nickel Company, and then the third one is FPX Nickel. I think all three of them have great potential to source the EV Tesla's battery. The reason is that out of the three companies I was talking about, two of them have the nickel sulfide deposit. So just want to give you guys a refresher. In order to create, so the batteries that need the nickel that needed for the batteries are from class 1 nickel. There are two class of nickel. One is higher quality, higher concentrate nickel that are considered the class 1 nickel that are used for the EV batteries, and then the second one is the class 2 nickel that are like lower quality. Is for the stainless steel market. So Giga Metal and the Canada Nickel Company have the one of the world's top nickel sulfide, and also the FPX Nickel. They, even though they are not nickel sulfide deposit, but their deposit can produce class 1 nickel, so they have to convert. Their deposit is called alurite deposit, consists of iron and nickel, and that same goes with even the low quality nickels. They still can convert into class 1 nickel. It's just the process of converting from a class 2 nickel to a class 1 nickel is more expensive, like the cost. So yeah, so I think Giga Metal and the Canadian Nickel Company has some potential, and also, but keep in mind that the Giga Metal and Canadian Nickel Company are in early stage of development, so they still need at least like minimum of 5 years maybe to get the mine into production. So the timeline for these developers are that first they need to release their PEA. This is the first step to show that if their deposit are economical at current nickel price, right? It doesn't matter how big the nickel deposit is. If they cannot mine it at a profit, then the deposit isn't going anywhere, right? So make sure that they're gonna come up with a new updated PEA soon. So maybe they have a different number, like maybe a smaller operation. They can start a smaller operation and then with lower capex and something like that, right? So the Canada Nickel Company is delivering a PEA soon. So yeah, all three of the company can become a significant contributor to the EV battery market. So the question is, would Tesla invest into like Giga Metal or the Canada Nickel Company, these early stage development companies? So my answer to that is why not? Because the way I see Tesla right now is they want to become like a monopoly of the battery market, the EV battery market, because they want, if Tesla gonna mass produce these batteries, like what the battery days is about, right? So they could actually source their batteries to other EV batteries company. So that's why securing long-term supply. So we're talking about long-term, okay? This is not like a year or 2 years. It's gonna be like 10 years, 20 years down the road, right? So in order to secure the long-term supply, it makes sense for Tesla to invest into these early stage developers. And the main reason is cheap, because look at the Giga Metal, is like trading at what, 100 million market cap, and then even like all three of them is trading at around 100 million market cap. So Tesla was saying in today's battery day was they want to reduce the cost of the battery, right? So for the most common way to reduce the battery is to invest, to have a cheap supply, right? You're not gonna pay a premium for the raw material. You want the cheapest way of getting the raw material, right? So it makes perfect sense for Tesla to invest in an early stage development company down the road, because if they have a long-term horizon. But still, I think a lot of the nickel miners are very speculative, because they do require high capital, like the capex is high, even though like their market cap is 100 million, but then in order to build those mines, it requires at least like $1 billion to build the mine, right? Like for me, I still think it's very speculative, but I think at the same time there is some I think you could make money in it, but again, this is not investment advice. It's just my personal opinion. So yeah, so if you guys like this kind of video, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this kind of video and this kind of style. Bye for now.